let me turn the podium over now to Sir Patrick Atkinson, the founder of the God's Child Project and the Institute for Trafficking, Exploited, and Missing Persons, one of our distinguished speakers for the first panel. He's going to set the context for the day and for this initial panel, which offers perspectives on the global, national, and local impact of human trafficking. I feel I'm kind of repeating what Senator Klobuchar said in setting the day, that other speakers for our opening panel include Alice Kamani, a current Humphrey Fellow, whose previous work experience included serving as a counter-trafficking program officer at the International Organization for Migration at their regional office in Nairobi, Kenya. Jeff Bauer, Director of Public Policy and Civic Engagement at the Family Partnership, who will illuminate us on some of the people and steps involved in moving safe harbor to law in Minnesota. And John Choi, Ramsey County Attorney, one of the pathfinders for this new law, who's already been complimented on that. So we're eager to hear his perspectives on this transitional moment as well. So, Mr. Patrick. My name is Kathy Horowski. I'm one of the planners. I also have to manage the time, so I'm going to put my other hat on now. So you'll see me hopping around and waiting things and trying to keep us on track. Thank you so much.
And she has shown me her slingshot. And I'm not kidding, she is serious about that. Well, this is a first for me, I have to admit that, because even though it's true that I have been knighted, even though it's true that I have served as ambassador, I have never before been introduced or listed before as Sir Patrick. So, Mom, if you're listening, first of all, thank everybody for coming today. This is a wonderful conference, it's a very valuable conference, and I know that I have just 45 minutes to give the opening thank you and to kind of set the stage. We're dealing with a vast crowd. We're dealing with students who really know nothing about human trafficking. We're dealing with, we have in the audience FBI agents and professionals who have worked in this field for many, many years. I've personally worked in the area for 35 years now. And over the years, I've seen this change dramatically. You know, people think about human trafficking as something that's happening right now, just in the last 5 or 6 years. In fact, a lot of people think Liam Neeson and his film Taken were the founders of human trafficking in the United States. And they were not. It's been around since the ancient Sanskrit and the Old Testament. It's been around throughout the history, one tribe conquering another as it goes forward. And as time went on, the United Nations eventually developed the protocol, which we have a copy of if you don't have, where it defines human trafficking. There's the recruitment, the transportation, the harboring, the use of fraud, deception, the abuse of power, position of vulnerability. And it makes no difference if they give a consent if they are a minor, because minors cannot give a consent to buy and sell their body as if it was nothing more than a piece of meat. It's a very long description and very complicated in its implication and its practice. So I boiled it down to 2 words: force or fraud. Is somebody being made to do something that they don't want to do, or is somebody being tricked into it? Or are they being deceived? And if that's the case, human trafficking exists. Human trafficking is not human smuggling. It's not somebody who pays $1,000 to go from Juarez, Mexico up to Minneapolis. That's a contract for service. There's not force, there's not fraud involved, so there's not human trafficking. There's really 3 different types of human trafficking. There's for the sex industry, there's labor, and there's selling of the body parts, which includes the black market adoptions. I used to think that body part human trafficking was urban mythology. It's not. We've worked in those cases over the years where children and women and people have been kidnapped and their body organs harvested for sales into the black market. The damage to the victims, oh my gosh, this is somebody's son, somebody's daughter. This is somebody's wife who went to the marketplace and didn't come back. The family problems, the sociology, the legal problems, the economic loss to our community. Think right now, the value of your time. I do a lot of expert court witness testimony for Homeland Security and other departments. If I do it for a private client, I bill out at $500 an hour, all of which goes to the charity. 1 more minute. If you add up the value of the time here, it is fantastic. The loss. Some people blame the victim. If you took the girls that were taken out of the house in Cincinnati, and then you said, you know what, we're going to criminally charge you with truancy because you haven't been to school for 10 years. How ridiculous! We don't blame the victim. What we have to do is we have to look at this for what it is. It is a business proposition. It is people who are taking your body, your son, your daughter's body, and selling it. No more emotion than if you went to kissed livestock and you bet on sheep or cattle or pork bellies. It's about money, it's about desire, the marketplace, and it's about money. You have some tremendous experts here today doing the work. They're going to share with you their lessons, their experiences. They're going to bring to your heart and to your mind this amazing phenomenon of human trafficking. But wait a second. I have 5 minutes, right? Every 30 seconds, another person is forced into human trafficking. That means that since I started at this podium, 10 more women or children coming out of school or going to the marketplace were taken and forced into sexual labor, sexual slavery, labor slavery, and more likely than not, will never come home. 10 more since I grabbed this mic. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why we are here. So thank you for coming.